Brought to you by Penguin.
Tyranny of the Minority by Stephen Levitsky and Daniel Ziblatt. Read by Fred Sanders.
In memory of Jill Neerum and David Ziblatt. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. Amanda Gorman, The Hill We Climb. Introduction. On January 5, 2021, an extraordinary event took place in Georgia. In a state where politics had long been stained by white supremacy, voters turned out in record numbers to elect their first African-American senator, the Reverend Raphael Warnock, and their first Jewish-American senator. Warnock was only the second black senator to be elected in the South since Reconstruction, joining the Republican Tim Scott of South Carolina. That night he introduced supporters to his mother, a former sharecropper, noting that the 82-year-old hands that used to pick somebody else's cotton picked her youngest son to be a United States senator. For many, the election presaged a brighter, more democratic future. "There's a new South rising," declared Latasha Brown, co-founder of Black Voters Matter. "It's younger, it's more diverse, and it's more inclusive." This was the democratic future that generations of civil rights activists had been working to build. The next day, January 6th, Americans witnessed something that seemed unimaginable: a violent insurrection incited by the President of the United States. 4 years of democratic decline had culminated in an attempted coup. The fear, confusion, and indignation that many Americans felt as they watched these events unfold echo the way people in other countries have described feeling as their own democracies unraveled. What we had just lived through, a surge in politically motivated violence, threats against election workers, efforts to make it harder for people to vote, a campaign by the president to overturn the results of an election, was democratic backsliding. The republic did not collapse between 2016 and 2021, but it became undeniably less democratic. In a span of 24 hours on January 5th and January 6th, 2021, the full promise and peril of American democracy were on vivid display. A glimpse of a possible multiracial democratic future, followed by an almost unthinkable assault on our constitutional system. Multiracial democracy is hard to achieve. Few societies have ever done it. A multiracial democracy is a political system with regular, free, and fair elections, in which adult citizens of all ethnic groups possess the right to vote, and basic civil liberties such as freedom of speech, the press, assembly, and association. It is not enough for these rights to exist on paper. Individuals of all ethnic backgrounds must enjoy equal protection of democratic and civil rights under the law. The 1964 Civil Rights Act and the 1965 Voting Rights Act finally established a legal foundation for multiracial democracy in America. But even today, we have not fully achieved it. Access to the ballot remains unequal, for example. A 2018 survey by the Public Religion Research Institute, PRRI, found that African American and Latino citizens were 3 times as likely as whites to be told they lack the proper identification to vote, and twice as likely to be told, incorrectly, that their names were not listed on voter rolls. Laws barring convicted felons from voting disproportionately affect African Americans. And non-white citizens still do not receive equal protection under the law. Black men are more than twice as likely to be killed by police during their lifetime as are white men, even though black victims of police killing are about half as likely to be armed. They are more likely than white men to be stopped and searched by police, and they are more likely to be arrested and convicted, with longer sentences for similar crimes. If you have
Sample complete. Ready to continue?